Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever interview for Limitbreaker. I'm your host, Andrew Bennett, and today I am joined here by a good friend of mine who I have known for a good many years. His name is Lukepi.
That's
or
me.
Lukepi.
Luke.
Yeah.
Lukepi, Lukepi.
Yeah,
Lucas.
that guy.
Lucas Pisser. Lukey. Luke. That's me. That's me.
Use the force.
I have known Mr. Bennett for about a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. welcome to Limitbreaker, where we're breaking the limits. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna describe
that's my
the show.
line, Luke.
This is your
Luke, I'm
show.
breaking limits.
I'm just the guest.
Yeah, I'm breaking all my limits right now at this very moment in time. So Luke is, quite an interesting character. He's a musician, but even more importantly than that, he can do a pretty sick Peter Griffin impression.
I can. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
I've never seen an episode of Family Guy, but I can do all the characters really well because my brain is broken. But yeah. Holy crap, Lois! Holy crap, Lois! You remember when we met? Remember when we met Lukepi from the internet? Holy crap! Peter.
It's terrifying.
Peter, I'm a dog. Anyway, that's it's.
Yeah.
That's within my skill set.
Yeah, we can bring in more of those impressions later on. I really hope you remember the bit that was like, what was it, the home movies VTuber bit you did the other day when we were first netting out the ideas of the interview.
That sounds vaguely familiar. I might remember it as we continue.
You better. I've been desperately waiting to record that, so you better.
I'll deliver the goods. For anybody out there, if you're looking for the worst voice actor in the world, please contact me. My rates are very low. My abilities are also very low, but my willingness to work is very high.
This man will do anything.
I will do anything for $20.
Absolutely anything.
Please hit me up.
Why do you think he's on this interview right now? Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think that I managed to get this man for my incredible interview online on the internet?
Andy,
thanks for incredible network.
Thanks for PayPaling me $30,000. I appreciate it a lot. Thanks, Andy. Oops.
Listen, Luke, you're welcome. Listen, my children didn't need that money to go to college anyways. Higher education is a scam. Don't fall for it. Don't believe it.
It's fraud. It's fraudulent.
It's fraud.
It means nothing. I didn't go to college.
It's a fraud. I'm a fraud.
I'm great. I have no problems at all.
Likewise, I have no intentions of going to college. I never went to college, and I also have no problems at all. There's no point in the past 48 hours where I've said I hate my life because I love it. It's great.
Me too. I love being a cog in the giant mechanism of capitalism. I love being a tiny piece of the machinery, easily replaceable.
And here's the thing, yeah. I mean, it's like, they care enough about me and my job that if I were to suddenly fall over dead, they would replace me. That means I'm important.
Exactly, yeah. You have a place.
Right.
You have a place in society. It's the American dream to be able to be replaceable at your grind, your 9-to-5 grind. That's what the American dream is all about.
Absolutely. Well, Luke, now that we've covered, some incredible aspects of your personality, like your undying patriotism, we can now start moving on, I guess, to some of the questions here. So for the uninitiated, Luke, aside from doing impressions and being the greatest patriot that his country's ever known, he also records music from time to time. He makes the computer go beep and boop, and he also has a couple of albums out, which you can check out at lukepi.bandcamp.com.
That is true. That's where they are.
Yeah. There's also... Is it pronounced Surri?
Yeah, Surri.
Yeah. Yeah, Surri, surri.bandcamp.com for his side project, which we can get into a bit later. But so, Luke, this is the most stereotypical question that can be asked opening up an interview, so I'm going to ask it. So what made you think you wanted to start making music?
I don't know. I mean... I guess I gotta think back like a decade or two. Not a 2 decades, I'm not that old, jeez. But I don't know, like 2000, 2009. Whenever WarioWare DIY came out on the Nintendo DS.
You know,
Uh,
this is a very specific origin story.
yeah. There are a lot of
There's not
little.
many Luke. There's not many people that I get to talk to, and they're like, yeah. So you know, if you think back to WarioWare on the DS, and
Yeah, so I mean, there are a lot of different things that pushed me towards it, but the earliest I can think back to, you know, just being like a stupid kid and getting WarioWare DIY on the Nintendo DS, and that game, for those who don't know, it's a do-it-yourself mini game maker that Nintendo sold us to children. I guess they were tired of making games, and they're like, you know, screw it, you guys do it. So you could do very rudimentary, basic, like programming and sprite art, and most importantly, music making. So you could do. It had like a little
hmm.
tracker software in the game, and you could play with different sound fonts and just sequence melodies, beats, and stuff. Very basic, you know. If you wanted music that sounded like it was made on the game for Game Boy games, um, that was I spent a lot of time in that, and I kind of broke my brain a little bit. I just loved it, and you know, I went from there to download other free software online. Studio Pixel, uh, creator of Cave Story, released
Oh yeah.
a software called Org Maker, where it was even probably even more basic than the WarioWare software in the DS
Oh
game, where
man, yeah.
you just
I haven't thought about that program in like probably 10 years or
yeah,
something.
yeah. I spent a lot of time making music in that. I remember the first song that I was really proud of. It's this little ditty called Robots. I was like 16. And I showed it to my friends in like my this like Zat chat room. I showed it to my friends. They're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. This is pretty sick. And I was like, this is kind of cool. I want to keep doing this. And you know, and, some odd like you know 9 years later, here I am, and it's what I spend most of my time doing.
So I'm curious. You know, just how far could you push the music maker over there in WarioWare?
I mean, not very far, probably. I haven't used it in a very long time, but I can still vividly picture it, like in my mind.
Okay.
It wasn't very advanced or anything. You got like basically like 10 um like verses that you could do, like 10 stanzas or whatever, and you can like
Mm-hmm.
copy and paste them and like edit, and you could do like a basic like chorus, or like a chorus verse chorus, or whatever the verse chorus verse whatever the structure is. I'm a musician. I don't know anything about songs. But you could make like a very basic tune, and the instrument selection, you know, wasn't very vast or anything. You know, you got a couple of different like NES and GBA style sound fonts that you could play with. Um, Kind of similar to like if you've ever seen like Mario Paint, like the music maker.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Kind of similar to that, a little bit more advanced than Mario Paint, but same basic idea. You know, not a lot that you can do with it, but as far as starting out and just teaching yourself how to make like melodies and stuff, it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat little thing. I mean, you know, it's not super robust. I don't think anybody can make a an album just in WarioWare Music Maker. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, listen, Luke, you've just issued a challenge.
Yeah, if you're listening to this interview, please find a copy of WarioWare DIY on the Nintendo DS and make an album out of just that. You know, do
And
that.
you know, what limits are we setting here for the term album? Do you have like a track length, album amount of
I'm one
songs?
of those. I'm one of those pretentious guys that's like, you know, track numbers and album length doesn't really matter when it comes to classifying something as an album. If there's if there's like an EP out there and it has like 3 songs on it, it's like less than 10 minutes, and I like it a lot. I'm just gonna call it an album. But let's
That's
say
fair.
let
That's fair.
me for the sake of this banal challenge that I'm going to put out there that nobody is going to follow up with. If you make 10 songs in WarioWare DIY and you make it into a cohesive project, I will I will give you $3. That is the reward for this. That's all I can
Listen,
afford to do.
Luke, I just gave you my children's college money,
Oh yeah, I
and all
forgot
you can
about
give
that.
these people is $3. You can't even give them, you
What
know,
can I say? I'm a man of business. I'm a frugal
that's true.
investor
That's
type.
true.
I'm an
Yeah, that's
entrepreneur,
true.
really. That's
Venture
like
capitalist.
that's the douchiest thing that you can call yourself on the internet, right? It's an entrepreneur. I'm an
I don't
entrepreneur.
know. I feel like the guys that are like, oh, I'm a venture capitalist. Look at my LinkedIn profile. Those guys I tend to find pretty insufferable.
Yeah, they suck too. Yeah, I don't know. They suck. Basically, if you're not suffering and poor, then I cannot relate to you at all, and you suck. And that's my opinion. If you have money and live a comfortable life, then I can't identify with you, and you're an alien type of figure to me, and I just can't empathize with you. That's my that's my
Hmm.
stance. I'm not accepting criticism or questions at this time, but that's fine.
Have you ever?
Have I ever?
Oh, yeah.
A couple times, yeah. I've a couple times. I have.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen Anthony Fantano review No Wonder yet.
It's it's difficult to break out in a I don't know. Like music
Yeah.
is one of those things where like especially like online where
Hmm.
if you go on like any social media or any music discussion place on the internet or whatever, you're constantly like everybody's constantly putting so much stuff out that it's easy to get lost in the sea of it. So,
Hmm. Yeah,
uh,
that's the thing. I mean, it's like humanity is now more interconnected than ever, which also leaves us at this point where it's very easy for with that high level of connectivity that there's a lot of noise.
yeah,
And this is not leading into a Merzbow pun. I'm not smart enough to do those types of things. Um, it's made discovery for anything independent very difficult because your only hope and solution outside of getting involved with somebody that has pre-existing fame is to just hope and pray that the algorithm picks you up. Everything goes back to the algorithm.
yeah. The algorithm is it decides your fate most of the time, and it's kind of insane. It's not easy. It's gonna get depressing now. It's not easy to be heard when there are a thousand other voices doing the same thing. There's a
Yeah.
YouTuber that I liked back in the day. I can't think of. He's like a game review guy. He's Australian.
Okay. Australian.
Zero punctuation. That's what I'm thinking of. And the
Oh,
guy, yeah,
That
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when he started out, he did like a review of a Fable 2, I think, and like the Escapist magazine, which was big at the time, and now they're not, but at the time they were huge. So they saw the video and they were like, "Hey, you want to do videos for our website? We'll pay you." And he described it as like making content on the internet is like putting a message in a bottle and throwing it out into a sea full, like just made up of nothing but messages in bottles. And you can only hope to luck out and have somebody pick up yours specifically. And
That sounds about right.
yeah,
And it's a weird time to be alive, I think, and a weird time to make something creatively Because, like you said, there's this sense of everybody else out there is doing the same thing as you. And I guess the question I'd ask you from that is, what do you think you do that stands out?
Oof, we're getting deep here, aren't we? Uh, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anything that I do specifically is really anything to sneeze at. I don't know if, for every frustration that I've ever had with my lack of recognition and lack of listeners, I guess, there are like 10 other musicians I can think of that also deserve the attention, probably and arguably more than me, because I can listen to their stuff and think of things that they're doing that is interesting and
Hmm.
unique. Um, I don't know. I guess if I'm going to be very kind to myself, and I'm not very often, but if I'm going to be very kind to myself, I'll say that there's an aspect to my music that's kind of uniquely clumsy and charming about it. Like
Hmm.
I'm not classically trained. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time, and I think that shows in the stuff that I make. Um, I don't know anything about making like good song structures or anything. I just like to make funny sounds that I think sound cool and just putting them all together. And I don't know.
So
I
you
guess
so
it's
you've
kind of
so you've
unique.
never researched music theory or anything like that?
I mean, a tiny itty bitty bit, but I'm not gonna say that I've understood much of what I've looked into, to be honest. It's really kind of just been, I'll say that 99% of it is just really just self taught, self practice, just experimenting on my own.
I get
Um,
that, yeah.
yeah.
Uh, and it's like it's really interesting to just kind of look at the musicians like throughout history and culture that have just kind of taken that I don't really care about your rules. I'm going to find something of my own and maybe make something new in the process.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah, it's a cool place to kind of be mentally. You can do great things. I'm not going to say that I'm doing great things, but I will say that it's definitely possible to create really, really cool, great things in that space. Um, because there's no limits. There's no like, well, I have a like a quota I have to meet. I have to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
I wanna do a song that has this structure to it, or I'm trying to make this song for this specific purpose to be played at this station, or to be on this record, or to be on this label, or whatever. So there is something that's kind of freeing about being just like an unknown creative. And I am thankful for it, because eventually, things will only, I think things can only go up from here, and eventually, there will
Yeah.
be people that are listening to the things that I make, and there might be a sense of expectation there that I don't know if I'm ready to deal with yet.
I get you.
I'm sure that I'll get there eventually, but as of right now, I'm kind of okay with just making songs for the void.
Yeah.
It's kind of a personal thing, I guess. It's just kind of like I'm making songs for myself. If other people listen to them, that's fine. That's cool.
I mean, that's a really powerful way to look at things, I think. I mean, you just kind of look at, like when you mention expectations, like you can just kind of look throughout, like, the history of most of the music industry and just how absolutely horrific and garbage it is,
Yeah.
especially once you get into looking at record labels and everything that they do and the power they wield, especially with creative control.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's kind of insane. Yeah.
I
It's
mean, I
yeah.
mean, I, have you heard about I don't know if you ever listened to Rush, but their album 2112. Um,
Sounds pretty obscure. I don't know if I've I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know Rush. I know. I've listened to 2112.
Yeah, and the entire reason that 2112 exists and is like a, a 20-minute long space epic opening up an album in the form of one song is because their record label kept telling them, your songs are too long, you're never going to get popular. And they were like, "Okay, we're just going to record a 20-minute space album or epic and open that up our album with that song."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And Russia's like huge, you know, they're like gigantic. So it's kind of inspiring to see stuff like that, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
Musicians that actually
we
like
can
made it.
learn that at the end of the day, sometimes the men in suits don't actually know what they're talking about, and by sometimes I mean most of the time.
Literally they never know what they're talking about. I can't imagine being like that type of person where you're so in the money game, like you're just motivated by numbers and funds and I don't I can't wrap my head around it. I don't know. I know you need money to like live and stuff, but when it becomes this like your like entire reason to exist and like when you have peons like bands and artists and stuff, like if you're running a label or whatever and you're in charge of like money coming in and money going to artists and stuff, and that becomes your entire like world. It's crazy to me to think about.
Yeah, it's a thing that it's like there's one thing when like you said, you need money to live. And there is a difference between you need something to live and your life revolves around this.
Yeah.
And the difference between the two is that I guess I guess there's like you've got your eating to survive and then there's gluttony.
Yeah.
And so that's a pretty like you said, I can't imagine that is definitely not the life that I'm suited for. Also, literally too rich for my blood.
Yeah, like I those people are just like they're barely human to me. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of messed up to say, but like suits
I
and
would say that there's like
CEOs and
really
stuff.
different types of people that are on a most basic level incompatible. Like going back to like what I said about like the venture capitalist, LinkedIn guys, like those people who like unironically post things like, oh, there was this thing I saw earlier. Somebody was making fun of where it's this big long-winded story, and it's like, I had a Zoom interview with this bloke to see if he was right for my company, and his room was a mess, so I was thinking of not giving him the job, so I gave him the job anyways. And his wife came in crying, and she was like, "We've got triplets on the way," and I was like, "I did my good deed for the day." And it's like, that is like, what? Why does this have 7,000 likes or whatever they call them on LinkedIn?
That's so
Who reads
weird.
this and is like, this is great, this is content, this
I
is
didn't
exactly
know.
what I go to the internet to read?
The only thing I know about LinkedIn is somebody made a joke a while ago. Somebody in our circle made a joke and they called it LinkedIn Park. That's like what I associate it with. But no, like people like that where it's like so you're part of the blood-sucking like capitalism machine and I'm going to grace this individual with the opportunity to waste his life working for me in order to live. That's my good deed for the day. I don't feel any connection to people like that at all, and I don't know. Again, they're like barely human to me. They're just like reptilian overlord people to me. Like I can't like if I met somebody like that in a bar and they started talking to me about like what their life is like being like rich and having employees and how they profit off of them and take advantage of them for their livelihood. I just would zone out completely. Like I wouldn't even like, oh yeah,
This is
this guy's.
implying they go to bars in the first
I mean,
place.
yeah, that's true. They wouldn't, but you know, just for the sake of this dumb, this dumb example, I'm trying to make. But yeah, like I don't know. They're not even like people to me. They're just like faceless bloodsuckers. I don't know. You can't have
So
a
what you're saying
conversation
is
with
that
me for longer than 30 seconds where I talk about how capitalism is bad and how I hate rich people.
so what you're
It's
saying is we should overthrow the record labels first.
maybe not the record labels first, but they're definitely, soon after the revolution starts. First, we have to kill all the CEOs, but then the record labels will get torn down and we'll give music back to the proletariat. And then,
The
uh, and then,
vinyl
uh,
for every house.
yeah, and then I'm gonna give techno music back to trans people, cause they started it, and then like lame white dudes in their 40s came back and took it. So I'm gonna give techno back to trans people, and if they want any other genres, they can have them too. This is my plan for the revolution. But oh well, that's probably gonna be after I die. Probably, I don't think I'll see it in my lifetime. Maybe I will. Maybe that'd be
Hmm.
cool, but I'm not too optimistic as far as like the structure of the world goes. I
You know,
kind
Luke, I
of
feel like the last 5 minutes have really endangered my chances of interviewing the former director of the CIA.
probably not gonna happen. I'm sorry, bud.
That's
If
all right. It's all right. Listen, I didn't want to just go and overthrow Iraq anyways. It's okay. They were like, we got a real good job position for you, and it's like now it's gone. Poof, up in smoke. Just like I'm about to be. You're gonna find nothing but smoking shoes left after a drone strike.
oh dear,
Oh.
it's getting too real in here.
Well, since it's getting too real, let's change gears, okay? We're changing gears. We're swapping, going back to the questions. That's where we go here.
Where we heading?
So, yeah, how do you currently make your music?
Currently, I cry a lot. No,
That's a good start.
I as far as like software I use and stuff, like I have an Arturia. What number is it? It's here on the floor. Hang on, let me look at it. Oh jeez, just bumped it against my desk. I've got an Arturia Mini Lab
Hmm.
MIDI controller. It has a sticker on the side that says pineapple. That's not relevant at all. I just wanted to point it out. I'm gonna set that back down now.
No, that influences the creative process, Luke.
I think about fruit a lot when I'm making music. But it comes with like this like huge sound library, and you can just play stuff and just play around with all the sounds, and you can build sequences, and basically I just open Audacity and I record instruments. Like it's a very like jammy kind of process
Hmm.
for me. I play most stuff live, and if I ever want to do like sampling or editing in Audacity, I know that program like the back of my hand, so I can really just mess around with stuff in it. But I'll do that and I'll make drum tracks. Either like, usually I'll just like take drum samples and sequence them in Audacity. I used to make drums, but they weren't really that good, and it was like I was spending a lot of time making drum tracks that I wasn't really happy with, so it's a lot more fun to just download lots of sounds online and just play around with them in Audacity until they sound nice and crunchy or, poofy, or I have a lot of scientific terms for this.
I
If
mean,
they
this is
sound
this is
cool.
the sign of a man who knows music theory like the back of his hand.
Yeah, these drums are really poofy, really really fluffy sounding drums. These drums are crunchy. This synth is
So
kind
you
of
don't use any
fooshy,
kind of traditional like full featured
like a
digital
DAW.
audio, yeah, DAW.
I
I don't I
haven't.
was like,
Yeah, I don't know if it's DAW or DAW.
yeah, I was like, if I
Um,
just say DAW, I'll sound like an idiot if he doesn't know what I'm saying.
no, I know what you're saying, but no, I haven't used one in 4 years. The last album I used
Oh wow,
Fruity Loops Studio for was Home in 2016. After
oh
that, I
wow.
was I was kind of burnt out, and I didn't like what I was making. So I kind of like reset completely, and I was like, what if I just make stuff in Audacity with my keyboard? So like Lukepi self-titled and Forward is really kind of like the Lukepi reboot, I guess. Like mid Bandcamp musician career. I kind of like changed directions a little bit. Lukepi self-titled is kind of like proof of concept, I guess, where I was just like, I'm gonna see if I can do this, and then I did it,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, well, let's see how far I can push this, and then you get those weird albums I did in 2018, and to current present day, the Sky Ripped Open and the Surri albums, and yeah, it's
Did you
all.
do the limiter soundtrack in Audacity
I
as well?
did, yeah, I did the
Oh
Limiter
wow.
soundtrack with again, yeah, just mostly just playing stuff live. Um, and that was really fun. That was a fun project, you know. Alex, the creator of the game, a friend of the pod, or pod. Is this a podcast?
I
What
mean,
is this
this
again?
one, I mean, I was thinking of just doing like I was okay. So this is where I kind of break the fourth wall and say for just like 30 seconds, it's a little weird in between because I have not interviewed anybody in like 3 years, and I've done nothing but podcasts since.
Yeah.
Um, but this is just kind of meant to just kind of stand alone, have fun interviewing people that are cool.
Well,
Which reminds
friend of
me,
the standalone, Alex
yeah,
Knowles.
friend of Limitbreaker, Alex, who he didn't agree to this. He did not agree to this endorsement whatsoever. So I'm going to, after recording, I'm going to have to reach out to him. I'm going to be like, Alex, you're friend of the podcast now, friend of the standalone, friend of Limitbreaker, and he's going to be like, Andy, what does that mean?
Just tell him
And I'm
that.
like,
Tell him that
just
it
wait a
was.
month until the video comes out, and you'll know.
Just tell him it was
What
my
video?
idea. He loves me. It's okay.
Okay, okay, okay.
But no, it was really cool. I was making songs, and Alex was just like, "Yeah, dude, do whatever you want. It all sounds cool." And he would send me like alpha builds of the game, and I would kind of form like in my head what I wanted these like little areas that he was making to sound like in the background, and then I would send him stuff back, and he would be like, "Oh, cool, I can listen to this and kind of make the rest of the game this way." And I was like, "Well, what?" So it was kind of like cool. We were feeding off of each other, and I wanted to make something like that was kind of simple and like not challenging to listen to. Not that I think my music is especially challenging or uh, expectation subverting or anything like that, but I wanted to make something just kind of straightforward and make like my take on like just techno and dance and house music, a little drum and bass. Um,
So was the process of designing a soundtrack for a video game, like aside from what you mentioned with the whole feeding off of each other, how different is that from just making an album on your own to release independently?
so in a way, in a couple of ways, it's different, but there are similarities. It's kind of like, and this is purely me. Other people may think differently about it, but when I'm making an album, I'm usually pretty strict with myself, and I'm trying to follow like I don't really have a plan most of the time when I'm making an album, but I'm a lot harder on myself when I'm making songs. Basically, whenever I make an album, what I put out is like maybe 5% of what I've actually made for it, and I'll have like just a hard drive full of just like trash songs, like just demos that I did not finish, or unfinished songs, or just songs that I finished and I wasn't happy with them. But when it comes to doing a soundtrack, it's kind of a different space. Like you're able to let go a little bit. You're not held to your own um, expectations and like your own like what you have set in your head. So you can kind of let go a little bit and be like, all right, I'm just gonna make this. This is what this level sounds like. This is what this area sounds like. And it's kind of freeing in a way. I'm sure that there are
Hmm.
people that kind of have the opposite view on it, where they're like, when I'm making personal stuff, it's just whatever I want. and when I do a soundtrack, it's like very rigid and very structured. But I think I might be the opposite. I
I mean,
I
there's sometimes where you have to be your own worst critic.
I definitely am. I think, yeah. Whenever I send stuff to people, um, like if it's for a project or if it's like a musician I'm collaborating with or whatever, or if it's just somebody that like a friend that I'm sending the music to so they can listen to it and give me like what their opinion is. Usually I'll like preface it with like, I'm not really happy with this. It sucks. Do you think there's anything I can do to make this sound better? And they'll be a lot less strict than I am. They'll be like, "No, this is really good. This is cool. I like, this part." And I'll be like, "Oh, okay. All right." But I'm a lot harder on myself, I think, than anybody else is on me, which I guess is good. I know a lot of musicians that they don't really take criticism very well. Like I've seen a couple of like posts, and this isn't about anybody in particular, but I've just seen, over the years, I've seen if some internet musician gets reviewed by Pitchfork and they get like a 5 out of 10 or whatever, and they'll complain about it online. But I think that if that happened to me, I wouldn't be upset really. I think, yeah, that's about fair. Or I'd be like, well, they were a little too generous, actually. That's fine. Um, and this isn't a jab at anybody or anything, but I just think,
I,
I think,
I,
I
I
think
mean, I
I'm,
think I can't believe, Luke, that you're calling me out after Anthony Fantano gave my self-titled debut album a 3 out of 10. Um, I can't believe it. I can't believe you would call me
it's
out like
crazy,
this right here, right now.
crazy that Fantano would do that to you. I don't really
Yeah,
keep
and I
up
can't I
with,
can't believe it.
I used to really like Fantano a lot. I don't really keep up with him very much anymore, but,
Me
um,
neither, actually. I just hear about it when people are angry.
yeah, I mean, like, I've always kind of enjoyed his reviews on, like, alternative music and, like, rock and stuff, but the man knows nothing about, like, hip hop or, like, God forbid, like, jazz. So, like, listening to this, like, stupid white flannel Connecticut guy talk about, like, southern rap, like he knows what he's talking about, is always, like, really funny to me. But,
Yeah,
you know, I,
yeah,
I,
but
I, I like how articulate he is and, like, as far as, like, punk and metal. Even though I disagree with most of his opinions, like all the time, I did used to like listening to his reviews on like I could listen to that guy talk about uh, Sun O for the uninitiated, but I could listen to that guy talk about drone metal for a minute, but yeah, I haven't
yeah,
I
I think
haven't
that's
tuned
a,
into
that's
him
an
in a
interesting
while.
thing about reviewers. Is that like, I mean, they've got their area of expertise, and every single one of them, without fail, I mean, even myself included, a couple years ago, it's like you want to go outside of that area because it's like, well, okay, if I know this much about this and it's the same type of media as this, then I can review both of them. That's how this
Yeah,
works, right? And it's like, no, no, no. There's way more intricacies to a piece of media other than just, okay, this is a TV show, this is a movie, this is a video game, this is an album, this is 5 hours of mumble rap. They're completely different things.
yeah. Like the guy that the film critic isn't going to be able to give like an apt criticism of like I don't know what's a children's TV show. Paw Patrol.
Teletubbies? Yeah, Paw Patrol.
I'm trying to think more current gen.
Yeah,
I don't watch TV
they do they
anymore.
do they not make do they not make new episodes of Teletubbies or anything?
I don't know. I mean, they could. I would have no idea. If you told me that Teletubbies was still a thing in 2020, I would not be surprised. But I'm pretty sure it ended in like mid 2000s, right? Or am I tripping?
Jeez. Teletubbies. Let's see. Jeez, it ended 2001.
Yeah, see? Like that's ancient, dude. You're showing
And
your
it's got a whoppingly high 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb. I can't imagine how it ever scored that low. Clearly,
Teletubbies Teletubbies rules, to be honest. I think every little kid should be forced to watch it until they're like before they're able to talk. Yeah, Teletubbies whips. I'm a big fan. I stan the Teletubbies. I'm a
I'm
Teletubbies
including this in
stan.
the like a Twitter preview of the interview for the record. That
That's totally fine. I'm a Teletubbies stan. Stan Tinky Winky. All the we need to get all the K-pop people to get really into Teletubbies and spam like fucking
Tinky
like
Winky fan cam.
yeah, Tinky Winky fan cam, Poe fan cam. Yeah, that's what I need. I don't understand like the like I get people that are like into K-pop and stuff, right? Like some K-pop songs kind of go in. I get it, you know. But
Yeah.
the spamming every like tweet that gets popular or every post online that ever gets popular with like hundreds of like K-pop AMV videos is like it's super weird to me, but then B, it's also like probably the funniest thing in the world to me. Again, this is going to sound horrible, and I'm kind of a terrible person anyway, so it's fine. But like, if there's like a tweet like from by the news or something where it's oh, this individual died of lost their battle with colon cancer, and then you see like you just scroll down, you see some fuckhead teenager go, maybe if they stand Luna, they wouldn't have died, and then they just like link like all these like Spotify and like iTunes links to their favorite K-pop albums. Like that's the funniest thing in the world to me.
It
It's
okay.
next level.
It's funny to me for probably a different reason. I don't know. I can't imagine being that. Though it's this big example of one of the biggest things that's changed over the past, I would say even 2 years is I hate the word fandom, but I mean I guess if I'm being current and modern, it's what I have to use.
It's an accurate
But
word.
yeah, and we've just seen this entire like what is fandom. It has entirely changed, and the answer is it's kind of a cult.
It's kind of like mental illness. Yeah, it's like yeah, I don't know. I see people that are like they go on and on and on and they're like they literally worship like these like just mid pop artists like Taylor Swift fans and like Lana Del Rey fans or whatever like I look at those people and like I'm somebody who's like loved and appreciated music for most of my life, and I'm not saying that I'm better than these people, but I'm saying that like we aren't really the same in our appreciation for music as an art form. I think that they're really into like characters, and they kind of like project these personalities onto these icons that they see on
Yeah,
TV and on
yeah.
the internet. And it's like it's its own beast. Like it's a very different thing. And it's kind of interesting and kind of weird. But like yeah, that's like a world that I'm very unfamiliar with, and I don't really care to look into it or research it more, but it's very funny and interesting to me.
It's interesting, yeah, because I think it follows like you said there, and I think you hit the nail on the head that it's very much more about the character than the art form. Because you'll see them use a lot of the same words that like reviewers will use when talking about art. Like, how do you say her name? Charlie XCX. Is it pronounced that
Yeah,
way?
Charlie
Or
XCX.
yeah, and like nothing against her as an artist or anything.
I
I
like a couple
don't
of her songs, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think there's like one or two that I've liked. So nothing against her or anything.
Yeah.
But when she had unveiled a cover for an album a year or two, maybe three, time does not exist to me, ago, um, like there was these people replying to it, and they were like, "This is iconic," and I looked at that and I was like, "That's no, that's not what that word
Is it
means."
like you mean are you talking about the album where she has like snakes on her titties or whatever? I think I
Something
know
like
I think I
that,
know what you're
yeah.
talking about. Yeah. It's like yeah, and she's kind of like a special case where like I want to say maybe 6 or 7 years ago she was like radio artist, and then she's kind of evolved into being one of the faces of like what's really trendy right now online. Like
Hmm.
I remember like Boom Clap or whatever that song is called, the one where she's like boom clap sound in my heart. You know what I'm talking about? You've heard that song. That was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that was like a Lord Royals esque like brain cancer, like brain infection radio viral song. And instead of being like a radio star now, I'm sure she still played on the radio, but now she's like trendy and like again, she's like one of the subjects of these like stan people where they post like fan cams and stuff. And that's kind of an interesting thing. Like some artists, they make that transition, and some of them do not. Like I haven't seen any Ed Sheeran fan cams. I'm sure there are some out there. I haven't seen any Lord fan cams, or I don't know. It's weird to me. It's again, it's a very different thing, and I don't understand 100% how it works or get it.
Yeah,
But you
no,
know,
there's
you
like there's
guys,
like an entire science behind how people like things, and it's really weird.
yeah, yeah, and it's completely removed from me and what I'm into and what I like. So they can do what they want. It's totally fine. I like how mad they make everybody. It's really, really funny to me. It's
You know, I follow a simple policy myself. It's like, does it make other people mad? Yes. Um, is it completely harmless? Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't see like there isn't anybody who's like uh oh, how do you say the name? Nixon, that like celebrity sex cult that was been making headlines since they're putting, the people behind it into prison and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like saying, "Ooh, Stan Luna." That's like a completely harmless thing. Um,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, this is an indoctrination front. They're taking these people into a sex cult, or they're killing people. No, this isn't the Manson family. This is a 16-year-old girl who's like, I'm gonna post a GIF in response to this balding old white man today.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Yeah. I don't think I mean, you know, again, I don't know, but I don't think there's anything inherently like evil about it. It's totally fine to me.
Right.
It doesn't affect me. I am fine. K-pop stans, if you're listening, keep doing what you're doing. I don't care. You're fine. It does not bother me in the slightest. If I posted like an album, like if I released an album and like a bunch of people flooded my notifications with like Luna, I'd be like, okay, this is fine. Whatever.
Hey,
If
wow,
anything,
this
it
album
might.
would have been great if Luna was on it.
Wow, this album would have been good if you got Luna on it. This sucks. Stream I'm Luna by Luna. I can't even name a Luna album. I've never listened to Luna. I thought Luna
I
was
don't.
was one person up until very recently when I found out that they're like a
Wait, it's
band.
not.
No, it's a band, dude.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're like a couple of people.
I viewed this all through a bizarre lens for
Yeah,
years. Where I was like,
yeah,
huh, that's one person, right?
yeah.
No, that's not.
And again, like I can kind of understand like the mentality behind it because I found myself sucked into it a little bit. I remember when Brockhampton was first getting really big, I kind of found myself really engrossed in the like the dynamic of like each individual artist in that group having their own like motivations and and part of that is you're like projecting that onto them. It's not the
Hmm.
reality, but it is interesting. The stories that they tell together in the songs, it kind of makes them feel like real people to you, and it makes for an
Yeah,
interesting listening experience. And that was all like shattered when the when one of them I don't know how familiar you are with this, but like one of them was outed for just like shitty abusive behavior in a relationship that he was in, and
yeah.
they kicked him out of the
I
group.
remember seeing that.
Yeah, and I kind of like just kind of like that. At first I was very like deeply upset about this, and then I realized that like it doesn't, like, I was projecting this personality onto this pop star. It doesn't mean anything. There was no reality in it, so it's like, you know don't your idols are just people, and some of them are shitty people.
Right, and that's the thing that this actually does like tie in nicely to when we're talking about the like soulless record label executive who lives only for money and money alone.
Yeah,
Um, is that there's a lot of these pop stars are exactly that exact same person, but they project a facet of their humanity and their personal interests through their music. Some of them that's made up. Some of them are, I don't know if they have much of a air quotes personality, but they project it through songs that are written by somebody else. And that does fall into the folks who are like, like you mentioned earlier, you got your Taylor Swift, and people like that. The people that, maybe at one point they were entirely independent, but now they're just kind of stalwarts of the industry.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's a machine.
yeah,
It's
it's a,
not
it's a
a
machine, and these
yeah.
emotions you feel with attachment to them, it's like, uh, I, I personally like. I think with very few exceptions, I only fall into it with very small bands because that's when you find these people at their most, I guess, personable might be the right word.
Genuine.
Um, genuine, yeah, that's it. Like there's a group that I've been into for a couple months now, called the Church of the Cosmic Skull.
It's a cool name.
Um, it's a great name. They like are a '70s stoner rock throwback band. They are like they want to look like a cult. That's their
Hmm.
whole shtick. They're like, what if we just worship the crystal skull? Why not? They all dress up in white. They like their front man refuses to be called anything but Brother Bill when he's in character, and he goes to interviews and he refuses to give any answer. But oh, it's what was in the skull. The skull told me this. He speaks like that because he's British, you see.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I saw a vision in the skull and it told me to write this song. And I was there looking at all this, and I was like, this guy seems like he genuinely just wants to have fun with his music. And I think what kind of sealed that deal for me about him was when he released a solo album, and I looked at his store to check the prices on the vinyl, and it has this big notice at the top of the store page that says, "If you can't afford this, please email me at," and it's got a link to his contact page. "I will try to get back to you personally and see if I can get something for you."
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when his vinyls are like, $30-$40 for a set, um, and he's just like, yeah, no, I'll just like get in touch, see if I can help you. It's like that is what seals me for me personally, that like somebody is
Yeah.
genuinely here for the art and not the business.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a very like punk mentality too, and it's kind of like part of what makes punk music so special to me. It's that it's so anti everything that the music industry like is. Like everything about its ethos is just completely the opposite. Like not even getting into like political affiliations and like as far as like just like the message behind a lot of it, but as
Yeah,
far as
yeah.
just
I
like
mean,
how it's
it's
set up is very different from what is what the music industry is. Like a good
and
example
I
I
would
can think
almost
of is
call
like
it.
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say almost like anti-manufactured, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. Like I think back like Fugazi, like doing
Hmm.
like $5 concerts, back when they were a thing, and releasing all their music as cheaply as possible. It's
Mm-hmm.
cool. It's interesting.
Right.
I'd like to embody that same type of like if I ever gained any traction, I'd like to embody that same type of mentality, I think.
I can't blame you. I mean, it again. It's like you said. It's genuine. Now, not everybody has to do that, but
Mhm.
it's still a mark that I feel like you can't just like do all that and be fake. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I feel that. It's cool.
Man, we just that just kind of flowed, huh?
Yeah,
Man.
we haven't even talked about Sonic yet. I mean, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's the part where I just have to ask you, because our viewers are dying to know, um, all two of them. What are your thoughts on Sonic 06?
I'm here for the viewers. I'm I'm here for the people, and if the people want to hear me talk about Sonic, then I will talk about Sonic. Sonic 06 is it's all right. It's okay.
Well, that's Luke's Sonic 06 review. So, moving on, because I've heard this man talk about Sonic 06 for if like I converted all those tweets over the years that you've deleted into like text to speech files, and I lined them all up, it would probably go on for like
Probably like
7 years.
yeah, like 8 hours at least. Yeah, yeah. I like video games are like an art form that I appreciate very deeply, and I always have very much like ever since I was like as far literally as far back as I can remember. It has always been something that I've very much appreciated as like a form of escapism or and as a form of like just experiencing art, through the medium of playing a video game. Sonic is like probably my favorite series. Uh, I'm not gonna get too into it, but I do like Sonic 06 quite a bit. It is like genuinely like one of my favorite games. I appreciate that era of like Sonic games. For anybody listening who's into Sonic, you know what I'm talking about. Like from Adventure to Sonic 06, I guess. Like the Adventure and Heroes esque like era. That's my shit. That's my jam. Um,
I can't blame you for that.
I just
I think
appreciate how genuine they are about telling these like stupid nonsense stories about these stupid nonsense anthropomorphic animals that run fast and talk and save the world from obese man. I just really like it, you know.
just think
I've
about all the
always
people
really
that
liked it.
died when Perfect Chaos showed up.
Yeah, yes. In Sonic Adventure One, canonically, thousands of people die in the final boss because this blue alien comes into contact with the Chaos Emeralds and grows very, very large and floods the entire city, destroying lots of property and killing lots of people. But Sonic stops him, so it's okay. Also, it's a children's video game, so you're not supposed to think about it too much. But a lot of
Yeah, don't
people
think, don't
die.
think.
Don't think too much. That's my motto for life, actually. Don't think too much. Just kind of do stuff. Don't think about things. 'Cause
Oh,
thinking
absolutely.
sucks.
Thinking is for morons, absolute
Thinking
idiots.
thinking and talking are the worst, and I've never done either of those things, and I never will. You'll never
Right.
catch
This
me
is
being
this is
being
telepathic
interviewed.
communication.
You'll never catch me being interviewed or being on a discussion for anything. I hate talking and
Absolutely.
thinking. It's the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, man, this is really fun. The thing, Luke, is that like I think we could probably talk for about 3 more hours about a lot of the stuff I had in my quick notes here. Um, and it's like, so maybe have you around a couple more times over the course of the crazy little thing called Limitbreaker. But
yeah,
I
yeah, I'll
do,
be
while
around.
while I still have you on here, I do want to ask you, have you remembered the home movies VTuber thing yet?
What was the home movies VTuber thing? I don't remember this.
Okay, I'm going to send you a message here to jog your memory.
I don't remember this. How delirious was I when I did this?
We called it like 10 at night.
I probably just got off work. Yeah, I was probably really tired.
Okay, let's see 1 second.
I mean, home movies, it's like, for those uninformed, it was like an Adult Swim cartoon. And, the Coach McGurk character talks like, Brandon, listen to me. Brendan, I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, I furiously typed that out. Please tell me this jogs your memory.
Okay, so it's like, Brendan, can you tell me what poggers means? Brendan, I ordered a pizza the other night, and the pizza delivery kid brought me the pizza, and he said, okay, that'll be $9.95. I gave him a 20 because I didn't have anything smaller, and he says, poggers, and then he walked away. He didn't give me any of my change. Did he think that that was a tip? Why did he say poggers? Brendan, can you please explain this to me? Brendan, what is a VTuber? Brendan, somebody told me about VTubers the other day, and I looked it up, and there are these beautiful animated women that play video games. I went into the chat, and I saw lots of people that were saying that word again, poggers, and people were donating money, so I funneled my savings account into this VTuber. I gave her $30,000. Brendan, I don't understand what's happening to my life. Where did it go wrong? It's basically like that, I guess. Coach McGurk loses his mind, gives all of his money to a V. It's not actually that funny. Andy thinks I'm a lot funnier than I actually am,
It's something like that.
I do a mean Coach McGurk, I guess. I do a pretty good Bernie Sanders. I do a pretty good any Family Guy character.
Could you, for the records, could you just do a holy crap, Lois, one more time?
Holy crap, Lois!
Okay, that's it. Interview's over.
I can't believe we spent the entire time talking about K-pop people. That wasn't planned at all.
We just
sorry.
let the conversation flow. It's like, listen, Luke. This is also the stealth pilot for our new music podcast that's happening sometime.
One day. It'll happen.
It'll happen.
Stay tuned, viewers or listeners.
Stay tuned.
There's nothing to view, I guess. Maybe a graphic that Mr. Bennett will create for the show.
I've got a couple of them in mind.
Mr. Bennett has been doing a lot of graphics lately. He's gotten very good at it. It's very interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas Pie.
Very cool. I am Mr. Pie, and I approve this message.
Oh man. Well, Luke,
is there anything else you wanted
to?
Is there any other point you wanted to touch on before we depart?
I just had you say, "Holy crap, Lois." I'm not sure there's.
Can we top that? Can we? Brian, I'm a gay baby, Brian. Stewie, I'm Seth MacFarlane's self-insert character. I'm a gay dog. I'm a closeted gay man, and I will not come out of the closet because 95% of my viewer base is Republicans. And they would not accept me. But I am a homosexual man. This is a cry for help, Stewie. Oh, Brian, you're so wacky. You're so crazy. I'm a little baby. It's funny because I'm a gay baby. I've broken comedy down to its bare essentials. I'm a baby and I'm gay. Oh, I'm an alcoholic dog that is also gay. And then there's the sex offender neighbor. What's his name?
Quagmire?
Yeah, that guy. What does he sound like?
I don't know. I don't watch Family Guy.
I don't know what he sounds like either. Which character does what's the name of the guy that does Kronk in Emperor's New Groove?
I don't remember.
Patrick Warburton, right?
Oh yeah, probably.
Who does he voice on Family Guy? I know he's on Family Guy.
I don't know.
That doesn't
Patrick
matter.
Warburton has such a good voice, though.
He does, and I can't mimic him very well, unfortunately.
Sadly.
I wish I could because his voice is like it's like a bunch of gemstones were blended up in a blender and then poured down my ear canal whenever he speaks. That's how I feel about Patrick Warburton. Patrick Warburton, if you're listening, please holler at me. Please hit me up. I'd love to collab. Let's link up. Thank you.
Patrick Warburton, I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn.
Patrick Warburton, please give me your LinkedIn. Let's link up. I would like you to be on my next album. I am working on an album right now. I started it a couple weeks ago.
You have anything you'd like to share about it, or?
I mean, I'm probably not. It's probably not going to be done for a long time, but
Okay.
I'm just gonna say tentatively that it is. It's like a Sky Ripped Open sequel.
Hey, that'll be neat.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited. I feel like this year has been kind of like literally insane in every way, but it's kind of like, at least for me, been the reset that I've needed. Um, it's been horrible, but it has been extremely cathartic, and I feel very hopeful about the future. So, all that gay
Yeah.
stuff.
Hey. Well, man, it's been great to have you on. I think this might be my third attempt at an outro. I'm not cutting any of this.
For
the other interviews, I'm probably going to cut down a lot of things and have like deleted scenes and extras and stuff. But I'm not cutting any of this after the intro. Listen, Luke, you are my greatest friend. Thank you.
I just never stop talking once you get me started.
That's the best part. I can get like
Ridiculous.
75 interviews out of you. This is gonna get me mad YouTube bucks.
I have brain damage, Andrew. I have severe brain problems. I'm an insane person. I should be institutionalized. That Suicidal Tendency song where he goes, "Mom, I'm not on drugs, just give me a Pepsi." And then Mom goes, "No, you're on drugs." And then he goes, "No, Mom, I'm not on drugs, I'm just staring at the walls, just please give me a Pepsi." He wrote that song about me in the 80s before I was born. That's a song about me and my life. I'm not crazy, institution. You're the one that's crazy, institution. That's a song about me. All I want's a Pepsi, Mom. Please give me a Pepsi. Hey, I'm gonna shut up. now. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Luke,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you many more times, probably.
That sounds Gucci.
All right. Well, man, glad to have you on. This is outro number 4.
Limit broken. We have to say
Yeah.
that at the end. Whatever you-
Yeah.
We sure broke that limit, fellas. Good job, gamers. We broke that limit. We fucked that limit right up, buddy. Yeah! That's the sound of us high-fiving. It's not the sound of me clapping alone in my room like an insane person. It's the sound of us high-fiving.
I'm laughing too hard to hit stop recording, Luke.
Okay, alright.
Luke is breaking all the limits here.
Good night and stay safe. Follow your dreams, kids.
Stay frosty.